Yeah, Berkeley. Think a big river. I know, but we just need the entire panoply of. So far, so good.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. The aspiring writer leans, eager for praise for the phone book on which he has labored. The professor stands, shows him the door, says, "Young man, you have no sense of compression." Compression as a life pursuit. Can one appreciate the nobility, the mania? What does compression imply, if not stores, warehouses of experience and witness that have been distilled over time to some verbal essence, like a tree sap syrup? Tom has described the short story as that most difficult form, wasting whole novels being profligate. Yet over the last decade, he has achieved a form even more reductive, the epigram, where he renders the authentic in lines so seemingly facile that for a moment one is deluded into thinking, hey, I can do this. Read these piths for his spin on among the vast array of human frailties, envy, false modesty, and what it means to be preposterous. Read the essays to glimpse what it takes to thrust your hand into the flame and live to tell the tale. Consider two fine stories by Irwin Shaw, The 80-Yard Run and The Girls in Their Summer Dresses, titles alone that are longer than some of Tom's epigrams. Each a lament to lost youth, lost opportunities, sentiments etched by the following lines in which one can note the author's judicious use of adjective in achieving the above and more. Mood, setting, resignation, and poignancy in possibilities pondered and discarded. Bravura compression. A man in middle age sitting in an outdoor cafe. Two young women passing his table, walking faster than he thinks he'd be able to run after them. Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Farber and the art of the epigram.
Good evening. That was Laura Glenn Lewis. Thank you, Laura, for your kind words. If you don't know the marvelous short stories of Laura Glenn Lewis, get a copy of Talking in the Dark. I'm also tempted to say to Laura, it's my nature, but Laura, what have you done for me lately? I think of that line in terms of my mother. When she was dying, she was in intensive care, and vapor was coming off of the oxygen mask, and I was reading her the day's mail from her apartment, mail that had come to her, and a fan of mine here this evening had sent her a get well card, and then at the end of which card, which I was now reading to my mother, this fan had written to my mother, but most of all, I want to thank you for bringing Tom into the world. My mother lay there with the vapor coming out of the mask on the exhale, and she said, but Tom, what have I done for her lately? Anyway, thanks also to Black Oak Books for once again hosting the reading from my latest work, Support Your Local Independent Bookseller. The publisher of Truth Be Told is Hip Pocket Press in Nevada City, California. I'm indebted to Charles and Gail Entrican for taking this book on and for producing such an attractive volume. Small press publishing is a labor of love. Charles and Gail have long commitments in the arts as both writers and publishers. Thanks to both of you. I also want to thank Binta Ayafemi Jeffers for her ongoing guidance to me, with me about book design. So, welcome to you all. For some of you to be present at the arrival of my latest writing dates back to 1967. I won't tell you who that is. The weekly appearance of my Beelzebub stories in the San Francisco Express-Times. For Mikey, age 21, being present at a reading of mine for him goes back to age 4. Who knows where the time goes? Tonight I'm going to read from Truth Be Told, then signed books. Those of you who want to continue the evening will reconfigure down at Café de la Paz, a block down the street on Shattuck, just south of Cedar. There's a bar there. I'll need it. And their kitchen will be open till 9:30. And just if you want to come hang out, please do. I'll read for about a half hour. I confess there was a part of me that wanted to read the whole damn book to you. And then all of my previous books. But I invited that part of myself to arm wrestle, and lucky for you, I won. There are those of you who wonder what will happen after Café de la Paz. And I'm glad to be able to answer that. I assure you, you'll sleep, you'll dream, God's willing, you'll wake refreshed. Truth Be Told is the product of a 10-year obsession with the epigrammatic from the early 90s until a year or so ago. Epigrams, axioms, proverbs, apothegms, maxims, they're related, and all of them hunger for concision, brevity, and universality. There are different traditions, the ancient Roman, the European, particularly of the 18th and 19th century, in which the wit is often dark and cutting. The Zen tradition, which is sometimes more wistful or accepting. And here in America, the country music tradition with its wry and often self-deprecating one-liners, not to mention Mae West and her zingers, or H.L. Mencken. This morning I read a line in the San Francisco Chronicle about G.W. Bush, of whom someone apparently said, he's a man born on third base who thought he hit a triple. In any case, over the 10 years of my pursuit of this form, I was most often drawn to the European tradition, as in the maxims of the French writer Duc de la Rochefoucauld. I write in my introduction that actually I was kidnapped by the Duke and brutally subjected to his maxims. It was horrible. But then, like so many captives, I identified with the aggressor and started to write my own epigrams. From that terrible abduction came a first small book, The Price of the Ride, published by Donald S. Ellis. A few years later, another chapbook, Compressions, published by Peter Howard.